Assalamualaikum students, I hope that you all are doing great and you are fine. So students, let us have the continuation of chapter number 8. This is going to be the last topic that serves as a long question and would actually come as a long question in the board. It has the probability of being um, present in your board as a long question. So students, our topic is going to be significance of non-metals. Significance means the importance of non-metals. It is from the page number 149. So let's start our today's lecture. So in the first paragraph that is written as below, this paragraph is to be marked as an MCQs. There is not going to be a very important line, so you can skip this paragraph in the long question. So basically, the MCQs number one that may come is, although the non-metals are fewer than metals, yet they are highly significant. The first thing you need to remember is the non-metals are fewer in number in comparison to the metals. They are equally important for the human beings, animals, and plants. In fact, life would not have been possible without the presence of non-metals on Earth. So let us come to the points. In the first point, make the hiding of major components of the Earth's crust. The non-metals are present as a major component of the Earth's crust, oceans, and atmosphere. Basically, if you talk about the Earth's crust, 47% of the Earth's crust is made up of oxygen. 86% of our oceans is made up of oxygen, and 21% of the atmosphere is made up of oxygen. And the first position, that the component that is present in the higher concentration in atmosphere, is nitrogen rather than oxygen. It indicates the importance of oxygen in nature. Second thing is to maintain the balance. Basically, what kind of balance we are talking here? We are talking about the balance of life on the earth. So everything in the earth is in the poise, in the calm, and in the balanced state. And how this balance is possible? This balance is the resultant of various type of the cycles that are present in our earth. Number one, as you can see here, the water cycle and the nitrogen cycle. And not only the water and the nitrogen cycles are there, there are also other cycles like the carbon cycle. Like we have the carbon cycle in the form of carbon dioxide cycles and the various other cycles that are present in over the earth. Now, in this diagram, you can see this is the whole composition of the earth crust, but in this whole composition, you only need to remember the composition or the presence of the oxygen, that is only the 47%. And you can see the other remaining portion of the earth is made up of the combination of both metals and the non-metals, but the major portion is oxygen. Next, students, if we have a very brief description about the nitrogen cycle, it is just for your understanding so that you had a better understanding of what the nitrogen cycle is. So nitrogen cycle is basically the circulating of the nitrogen throughout our atmosphere, from the atmosphere to over the earth crust, and in the circular motion, this is the whole motion of the, or the movement of the nitrogen. As you can see, let me have the cursor here are pointed here so you can view it really well. So as you can see, the nitrogen that is present in our the atmosphere, it is present in the gaseous state. The N2, when the number comes just like the under of the alphabet, it means the gaseous state. So nitrogen is present as a gas. This nitrogen is then consumed by all those bacteria in present in over the soil and in the process called the nitrogen fixation. So nitrogen fixation, what is that process in which the bacteria converts the nitrogen into the compound? As you can see, through this process, ammonia is formed. Similarly, as you can see, the plants uses the nitrogen. Assimilation means in which they uses the nitrogen in the form of the various compounds, and moreover, ammonification means the conversion of the nitrogen to the ammonia is taking place. This ammonia is then undergoing the process of nitrification in which the ammonia is converted to the nitrate ion. These nitrate ions then undergo the denitrification in which they are converted back to the nitrogen gas and they are released to the atmosphere. Moreover, assimilation means the plant. Actually, students, the keep one thing is mind. It is for your general understanding, your for the general knowledge. The what is the food for the plant? If I say, um, plant respires. During the respiration of the plants need carbon dioxide and they releases oxygen. We have that basic concept. What is the food for the plant? Nitrogen is basically the food for the plants. Plants cannot eat the nitrogen directly. Therefore, they need nitrogen to be converted into various compounds, like the ammonia is here, like the nitrate is here. So therefore, these are the compounds that are actually eaten by the plant. And they're not only, and what the food does to us by eating the food, there is our growth. There we observe our body growth, we observe our growth and development and hormonal changes in our the body. Just like this, the plant needs the nitrogen as a food in order to for their the optimal growth and for their optimal development. Next, have the very brief view of the water cycle. As you can see, the water cycle, you all have the clear understanding of what kind of water cycle. Basically, it's very easy. Usually all those water vapors present in the atmosphere, they rises to the top of the earth, they form these clouds is basically the conversion of the, but in the clouds there is a process of the condensation. Through the process of the condensation, the gas is converted into the liquid means in the present in the form of the rain or the snow. These water vapors then come down to the surface of the earth. Precipitation means the water is coming down from the atmosphere to the earth in the form of either hail, either mist, either rain or snow. This water is then collected in the oceans, and from the oceans, through the process of the evaporation, it is then released back to the atmosphere. So as you can see, this is a whole cycle of the water that is created. Okay, student, next proceeds to the next slide. Another property is non-metals are essential part of the body structure. Underline the essential part of body structure. It will serve as a heading for this point of all living things. Human body is made up of about 28 elements, but about 96% of the mass of human body is made up of just four elements. Oxygen, that is here, as you can see, the oxygen is here, and it is constituting about the 65%. Then comes the carbon constitute about the 18%. Then comes the hydrogen constitute about the 10%. And lastly comes the nitrogen that only makes the 3% of our the body. Similarly, the plant bodies are made up of cellulose, which is composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Actually, cellulose is hydrocarbon are all those compounds which consist of three elements. The carbon, hydrogen basically consist of two elements, carbon and hydrogen, but they may also contain oxygen in them. Cellulose, a simple example of cellulose is whenever you observe the bark of the plant, you see there is a brownish bark, okay, which you call the stem. So this bark or the stem contains the cellulose from which our many papers, tissues, cardboards, and different type of the items are made. Next, come to the third point. Third point, the heading of this point is the existence of the life. Life owes to non-metals, as without the oxygen and carbon dioxide, essential gases for respiration of animals and plants respectively, life would not have been possible. In fact, these gases are essential for the existence of life. The fourth point is all the eatables like carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, water, milk, etc., which are necessary for the growth and development of the body that are made up of non-metals. So basically, the food that we consume contains the non-metals and non-metals in various classes, and these are the classes: carbs, proteins, fats, vitamins, etc. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So basically, these are the most important non-metals that are not only responsible for our the survival existence, but also for our food, for our maintenance. It shows the non-metals plays a very vital role for the maintenance of life. As you can see, we can get our the proteins from all the sort of the meat, from the chicken meat, from mutton, from beef, and all other the fish, all of the meaty products, and even from the milk. The protein present in milk is casein. So basically, we get the protein from the different sources. Similarly, we get the carbs or the carbohydrates from the wheat, flour, and various different atoms, even the potatoes, corns, etc. Next comes the vitamins. Are, as you can see, we know the vitamins. We get the vitamins from our the fruits. The fats, we get the fat from different type of the oils, dry nuts, and then come the fibers. We get the fibers from all of the fibrous and all other highly filamentous vegetables or the fruits like the cabbage, like carrots, broccoli, etc. So this is all the nutritional chart that you must have a view of about. Next, come to the next point. It is point number 6. Another important non-metal is nitrogen. We have previously discussed nitrogen is number one element that is present in our the earth crust, which is 78% in the atmosphere and is necessary for the safety of life on earth. It controls the fire and combustion processes. Otherwise, all the things could around us could burn with a single flame. So, student, this would be very shocking to you. We need oxygen for burning during the fires and during the burning procedures. If the oxygen, if a little amount or even the optimum or limited or appropriate amount of oxygen is present, then the fire can erupt to a high level. So basically, the fires and all those combustion processes needs air, needs oxygen for them to accelerate, and they would be uncontrollable. So for them to control within the particular range, we need the nitrogen as a balancer. Next comes the point number 7. The non-metals are playing the essential role for the communication in life. And what sort of communication here we are talking about? We are talking about all those energy communications, means energy production. All the fossil fuels which are major source of energy, coal, petroleum, and gas, are made up of the carbon and hydrogen. Even the essential component of the combustion of the fossil fuels, oxygen, is also non-metal. So here you can see among all the non-metals that are present in our the periodic table, the most important non-metals are the carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Point number 8 comes the non-metals protect us in a way. The clothes we wear are made up of cellulose. So basically, cellulose, we get the cellulose from the plants. So cellulose is a natural fiber. Natural fibers are basically all those fibers, all those materials that are present and that are obtained from the natural sources like the plants. Fiber means, you know, the threads. When you use the threads are used and they are woven together in the formation of the clothes, sweaters, and various kind of the items, clothing items. Similarly, the fiber means a single stranded material. So there are the two types of fibers. There is a natural fiber, there is a synthetic fiber. Synthetic fiber means the man-made, that are artificially made in the laboratories. Example includes the polymer. So what would be the heading of this paragraph? You can write clothing over this paragraph. The point number 8, in addition to all of these, other items used in daily life, such as wooden or plastic furniture, plastic sheets and bags, plastic pipes, and utensils, are made up of the non-metallic elements. So basically, the most common the elements that difference, we talk about the nylon, we talk about the esters, we talk about the different type of the compounds from which these materials are made, and those all those compounds contain the non-metals. Even all the pesticides, insecticides, fungicides, and germicides consist of non-metals as a major constituents. So students, one thing you must remember, whenever the word sides come in a letter. So whenever there is the sides word coming in the letter, sides mean to kill. So it means pesticide means killing of pest, insecticide means killing of insects, fungicides means killing of fungus, and last one is the germicides means killing of germs. So what would be the heading of this point? You can write other items over it. Now, student, it was all about the long question. Now proceed to the exercise MCQs, multiple choice questions. Number one MCQs is the metals can form ions carrying charges. So here they are asking what are the metals capable of forming. Metals can form unipositive, dipositive, tripositive, or all of them. So let us have some examples. For example, we know in the group number 1 there is a metal sodium. The sodium can lose one electron, so it can form one positive charge, which is also known as unipositive. Let us take an example of another metal, which is calcium, that is present in group number 2. Calcium have the ability to lose or to donate the two electrons, resulting in formation of dipositive ion, Ca2 positive. So yes, metals can also form dipositive. Let us take another example of metal, that is aluminium. Aluminium can lose 3 electrons, resulting in the formation of aluminium 3 positive ions. It means that the metals, yes, can form unipositive, di, and tripositive. Tri means 3. So the correct option of this is going to be all of them. Next, student, MCQs number 2, which one of the following metal burns with a brick red flame? Previously in this chapter, when we were talking about the differences of the calcium, magnesium, and sodium, we got to know that calcium has the ability of burning of making the flame brick red. So the correct option is calcium. Next, student, MCQs number 3 is sodium is extremely reactive metal, but it does not react with. So first thing you must remember, sodium is what? Sodium belongs to what group in the periodic table? Yes, sodium belongs to group number 1 in periodic table, and group number 1 is also known as alkali metals. You have studied in the comparison of alkali metals and alkaline earth metals, and alkali metals do not react directly with the nitrogen. Therefore, correct option is going to be nitrogen. MCQs number 4 is which one of the following is the lightest metal? In this chapter, right at the third side of your chapter, you have studied that the lightest metal found in the periodic table is the lithium, that is having the density of 0.53 gram per centimeter cube. So the correct option is C, lithium. MCQs number 5 is pure alkali metals can be cut simply by knife, but iron cannot because of alkali metals have. So basically the question is the iron, we cannot cut the iron with a knife, but we can cut alkali metals with a knife. What is the reason behind that? So there are some options are available like strong metallic bonding, weak metallic bonding, non-metallic bonding, moderate metallic bonding. We does know that both alkali metals and the iron have the metallic bonding in them. But what is this written? Can be cut simply. Only those substances can be banned, can be cut simply, can be broken if they have the weak forces. So the option is going to be weak metallic bonding. For example, if a substance have a very stronger forces of attraction, like very strong metallic bonding, it is very difficult for us to cut them. So the correct option is weak metallic bonding. MCQs number 6 is which one of the following is less malleable? Malleability is a property by which the metals can be converted into the sheets. So basically, we have studied the most malleable elements present in the periodic table. They are the gold and the silver. And we have also seen the iron sheets. We can also see the iron being drawn into the various kind of sheets and also the wires. So the correct option for this is sodium. Next is MCQs number 7. The metals lose their electrons easily because we have studied the property by the virtue of which the atom on an element has a tendency to lose electron is known as electropositivity, and the element or atom is known as electropositive. So metals are electropositive. That's why they can lose electrons very easily. So option is C. Next, MCQs number 8 is which one of the following is brittle? Before coming to the options, students, first you need to map out the two concepts. We have talked about the comparison of alkali metals and alkaline metals. Sorry, we have talked about the metals and non-metals in this chapter. First thing that we have observed is that the metals are malleable and ductile, but they are not brittle. Brittle means that we can break easily. For example, the glass, the normal glass that is present at your homes, the glass curves, the glass windows, they are brittle. When you push them down, they break. So breaking is called brittleness. That the things that are delicate and fragile, they break easily, and we call them they are brittle. When we're talking about the metals can be drawn into the sheets and the wires for such that they are malleable and ductile, but they are not brittle. However, on the other hand, non-metals are brittle. They break easily. As you can see, the sodium is a metal. It belongs to group number 1. Aluminium belongs to group number 3. It is also a metal. Magnesium belongs to group number 2. It is also a metal. So what left? What is left? It is selenium. Selenium is a non-metal. So the correct option is going to be C. MCQs number 9 is which one of the following non-metal is lustrous? Lustrous means shiny. So we have talked about in the whole chapter, non-metals are not shiny except iodine. So iodine is shiny in here. MCQs number 10 is non-metals are generally soft, but which one of the following is extremely hard? Remember that without even looking at the options, you just need to know have a know-how and knowledge of the factor that diamond is the hardest element present in the periodic table. So the correct option is diamond. In the case of the iodine, iodine is a non-metal. It is usually present in the solution. In the case of the graphite, graphite is softer in comparison to the diamond, and the phosphorus is also softer in comparison to the diamond. The MCQs number 11 is which one of the following will not react with dilute HCl? So usually these are all the examples of the some. You can see the sodium, potassium, and calcium. These are all the examples of metals, and the carbon is an example of non-metal. So usually the metals they are more reactive in comparison to the non-metals. And if we say non-metal do not form the ionic compounds; they form the covalent compounds, and they usually don't react with the, for example, the carbon. It don't react with the HCl. So the correct option is going to be carbon. So student, this was all about today's lecture. Memorize each and everything. Your revision tests are drawing near, so this is the very golden period and very golden time for you to revise, to review all those lectures and all those chapters that you are weak in. So just designate and distinguish the chapters that you are good at, that you are weak at, and focus on all those chapters and all those concepts that you are weak at during this time period. That is the golden time period for all of you. And best of luck for your future, everyone. Students.